everyone, and welcome to Mr. Mo Dynasty. It's episode 16. This is going to be our first off season, an opportunity to take the broken pieces of last year and try to build a new foundation in Chicago.
So let's go ahead and begin the off season at this time. We did not make, obviously, the playoffs with a 57-105 record. Before we look at the stats of the players, we're going to go ahead and do the stats for the injury people, because sometimes you can forget that they are on there. And unfortunately, we had an injury at the very end of the season that made them bring up our rookie first baseman in the triples. Very disappointed they did that. The computer did, because that's going to take a year off of his. And it's going to start the clock, I believe, and now we're going to have to pay him more next season to start with. But we were planning on starting him anyway, but still, it's a little frustrating. But let's go ahead and take a look at Brian Ramos on the injury list. You know, at a 66, 22-year-old, he ended up hitting 215. You know, his C potential, 66 overall. His stats did go up, as you can see. He's getting progression. You know, we asked a lot for a 66, 22-year-old C to play a lot of the games. I mean, he got 251 at bats, probably more than he should be getting. He should still be seasoning in the triples, if not the doubles for that matter, but probably the triples. But still, he played probably more games than he should have, but he's out. Colson Montgomery, our captain, he ended up having 392 at bats because he did get hurt. He ended up hitting 217, which isn't what you want to see, but as you can see, most of his bars went up. Would he have had more development had we kept him in the triples? Probably, but I still like the progression that he's making, especially the 6 to power against lefties, especially because he is a left-handed at bat. I mean, he still got progress, but yeah, probably not the best season hitting 217. But he is our captain. Bobby Dalbec got hurt at the end of the year. He's a 71B 29-year-old. He's interesting because he doesn't really fit our mold as far as the young core, but he does have the 74 speed. He did go up power 9 against righties, and he did hit 224 with 18 home runs. So he was one of our biggest home run hitters. Will we bring him back at age 30? Depends what he wants to get paid. He got paid $800,000 last year. I could see us bringing him back on a short-term deal. I don't think I'd go more than 3 years. Ray Mata was a minor league pitcher, but he is definitely our future left-handed setup man. So we don't really have a lot to go on with that. And these are just some minor league players. All right, let's go ahead and go to the stats of our team. Don't worry about the way it's lined up. This is just the lineup at the end of the year that the computer put in. Corey Julks hit 248, 9 home runs, 471 at bats. I mean, he did see a lot of progression. 7 left power. It is nice to see. He can play a lot of spots. He has positional flexibility. I could see bringing back Corey Julks. Once again, he'll be 30. He's probably reached close to his potential. I could see bringing him back. Dominic Fletcher has earned a spot in the team. That's 10 contact against lefties is fantastic. Got a lot of good development this year. I could see starting him next year, I suppose. I don't like his speed in center, but he did hit well enough to play for us. Maybe he'll play in left or right. He does have the arm for right, so I might play him in right field next year. Burleson, the big piece of our trade. Like to see all of his improvements, except for the speed, steal, and base run aggressive. He's not meant to be a base pad demon, but I do like the growth that he got. 73B, 26-year-old. He did end up having 52 RBIs and 17 home runs. Considering he had 573 at-bats and a 3 spot, probably a little bit lower on the RBIs you'd like to see, and I did want to see him hit 20 home runs. Hopefully next year he can improve upon that. He does only have 69 power against righties, 48 power against lefties, but still, I like seeing the progress. Hopefully he can get that 70s power to righties next year. Jason Dominguez, he's not meant to be a fourth place hitter, but he is 22, 75. Like to see all his numbers going up. I like that 9 contact against lefties, especially, and the 7 power against lefties. So he must have done really well against lefties this year. So he hits lefties better. He did have a .9 WAR, which is good to see. Sosa, not sure that he might get like a. I was looking at what my plan was for next year. There's a strong chance that Sosa is a platoon guy with at second base with Gray. I think that's what I'm looking towards. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. Like Sosa would hit against left-handed pitchers, and then Gray would hit against right-handed pitchers. So I'm strongly considering, barring free agency or Rule 5, a platoon with Gray and Sosa at second next year. Clifford is the person I want to have starting for me next year at first base. Unfortunately, they brought him up because of that injury at the end of the season, so minor league option used one. It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. Nick Maton, not sure if he's going to be brought back. I think if his contract is favorable, he makes a great platoon guy, considering he can play short, second, third, left, center, right, so he has a lot of position flexibility. He's got great discipline. Not a great fielder in any spot, but he does hit righties well with the power. Is he a bench player? Probably. Brooks Baldwin. We know my affinity for Brooks Baldwin. A lot of stats going up. 68C, 24-year-old. I mean, he's still very young. Got some good development. I like the fact, once again, he has positional flexibility, and I like his speed off the bench. So he's probably going to make the squad as a bench player next year. Hopefully, he's playing on the bench, not starting for us. Michael Turner, I don't know that we're going to bring him back. Maybe a small deal. He's going to want to get paid, though, because now he's been in the majors, so I don't know that he warrants, with the 61D, I don't know that he warrants $800,000, because I'm definitely looking towards a Rule 5 catcher in the draft for the Rule 5 draft. So not sure Michael Turner has a spot on the majors, but he might get re-signed and go to the minors. We'll see. Zach DeLoach, not sure about his future. 195, I don't know. Maybe the minors. Terrell Tatum, 65D25. He really cooled off after a hot start. Ended up batting 197. What's his future in this team? I don't know. Maybe the minors. Do not want to be starting him, hitting 195. Very weak hit line. Corey Lee, I have no interest in bringing him back. I think he's an overpaid catcher that never really panned out. Yeah, he does have a tremendous arm, but hitting 187 is not going to cut it. Jason Maya was brought up just because, and don't see him having a future as well. All right, let's go to our pitchers. All right, next year it'll be Cannon 1, Thorpe 2, Eater 3, Jerpy 4, and I'm actually going to go with another different pitcher for 5. Let's go ahead and look at our stats. Our ace next year will be Jonathan Cannon. He's probably going to get paid a little bit more, but he is a C75, 24-year-old. Most of his stats went up except for stamina. He only lost 1 on that. He went 10-11 with a 3.21 ERA and a 1.21 WHIP. He did a phenomenal job for us, and that's why he's going to be our ace next year. Drew Thorpe. Yes, the win-loss record looks horrid at 5-16, but you know what that tells me? He stayed in enough games to get the decision, and he had a 3.86 ERA with a 1.37 WHIP. Most of his stats went up except for the stamina. I'm assuming, once again, that's probably one of our horrible coaches. But 8 Ks for 9, 6 home runs per 9, 5 for walks per 9, 4 for hits per 9. He had a great season. So he's going to be our number 2 pitcher at a 75. Jake Eater, I thought, had a solid performance for a 69C 26-year-old. All of his stats went up. Nothing went down. Even the stamina didn't go down. He gained 7 home runs per 9. He's going to slide in as our number 3 pitcher. Cooper Jerpy ended the season with a 6-9 record, 4.18 ERA. He did much better on his second stint coming back to the MLB. So in his second stint, he figured some things out in the triples, and he lowered a lot of those stats that originally had been a little higher, like ERA. So he is definitely going to earn a spot as the number 4. And then our number 5 pitcher will be next year, probably, I'm looking towards Kyle Busch, who's in the triples this year. But we'll look at Garrett Shanley's numbers. He started out hot, but then he definitely cooled off. Ended up 1-7 with a 5.32 ERA. So his flash in the pan status is probably going to be back down to the minors if he makes it at all. Juan Carrera was brought up by the computer once again, kind of frustrating. That's going to start his clock. Baroa had a rough major league season. We're going to try to start him next year in the long relief role and give him a reset, because his bars did mostly go up. as far as development. So we'll give him another chance. Hopefully he can figure things out. I'm not sure why he does so poorly in Sims. I mean, he does have the lower walks per 9, hits home runs per 9, but compared to other pitchers, it's not the worst in the world, and yet he gets rocked. So hopefully he can figure things out. I mean, I know he only has a 3-pitch mix, but he's got to do better. Dan the Man had a great season. I thought I'm going to move him into setup role next year probably. Steven Wilson, a serviceable job at 67.30. I will definitely bring him back if the price is right. Gilbert ended up having a strong end of the season. He ended up with a 3.45 ERA, so I see no reason not to bring him back. I think he's earned it. Cam Boozer will be my left-handed setup man, and definitely want to bring him back. He had a phenomenal season. And Justin Anderson was brought up by the computer at the end. And James Karinchak, let's see what he ended up doing. 16 saves and 3 blown, so I thought he did pretty well, and 20 holds. So Karinchak, and he is already signed for the long term. That was one of those contracts I signed early to lock in. So there are the stats for the people in the majors. And that means we're going to move on to, it says, before you start the playoffs, record the following stats. Manager, I did this off camera, so let's just go ahead and read through them. If I can find that sheet for the stats. So we are going to record our manager's wins, which is 57. We're going to record our pitching coach's team ERA, which we finished 20th with a 3.88 ERA. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Hitting coach, we record our team's batting average, which is dead last at 220. First base coach, we record team stolen base percentage, which was 24th. We stole a base at 0.662%. Third base coach is team's runs scored, and we were dead last, 30th, with 446 runs. Our farm director, number of prospects, promotion players, we had 10, so that's outstanding. Strength and conditioning coach, team slugging percentage, we were dead last at 30th with a 337 slugging percentage. Yikes. Trainer, how many players did end up in IR? We had 6 players at the end on the season on IR. Bench coach, team fielding percentage, we finished 27th at a 984 fielding percentage. Scout number 1, number of top 25 prospects, we had 5. Scout 2, number of top 50 prospects, we had 2 more, so we had 7. And Scout 3, number of top 100 prospects, we had 2 more, so we had 9 of the top 100 prospects in MLB. AAA manager, did we make the playoffs? No, we did not. AA manager, did we make the playoffs? No, we did not. Bullpen coach, team blown saves. We ended up being 6th in the league with only 19, so I'm pretty pleased finishing 6th with the bullpen we put together. And sales and marketing, you look at your GM rating, and we are a C as our GM rating. So those are some of the things in your info we'll be using when it comes to movement for our staff from top to bottom. Then it says, if any of your players win an end of the year award, add a D6 to their stat. We did not end with any awards, no rookie of the year. So we're going to move on. And we'll skip past where it says playoff stuff because we did not do that. Let's go ahead and look at how the season ended for teams. Let's start in the American League West. The Mariners won this one with a 91-71 record. And then you had the Rangers, the Astros, the Angels, and the Athletics. As far as surprises in the American League West, I mean, the Mariners are the 13th best ranked team. So for them to win the division in arguably one of the weaker divisions, none of those teams are ranked higher than 12th. And that was the Astros, and they missed the playoffs. But I think the Rangers feel pretty good, ranked 16th, and the Mariners feel pretty good, ranked 13th, as they both make the playoffs. Moving on to the American League Central, here is the biggest surprise of the year, I would argue. The Tigers won 100 games as the 17th ranked team, so they did fantastic, winning 100 games with a 17th ranked team. The Guardians were 10th ranked, and they still made the playoffs. And then you had the Twins, one of the bigger disappointments, 9th ranked, losing record. Royals ranked 15th, didn't do well, and there are our White Sox, dead last in the rankings, and we finished with 57 wins. We go to the American League East. Another big surprise were the Rays, ranked 21st, and yet they made the playoffs at 87-75. And through they beat the Red Sox, who get the wild card at 87-75, although they'll both be facing each other in the wild card round anyway. But at least the Rays get the home field advantage. The Red Sox were the 22nd ranked team, and they squeak in there. So that's pretty impressive for those teams. And then you have the 7th ranked Yankees that don't even make the playoffs, which is a little bit of a surprise. Blue Jays with a winning record, ranked 18th. And then here's one of the biggest disappointments of the season. The Orioles with that 4th, all those young players, studs that they've got, and 4th ranked in the game, and yet they finished 74 and 88. So that is very surprising how they finished the year. We'll see if the coach gets fired. All right, let's move on to the National League. The National League East, you have the Phillies are the 2nd best team in the league. Ranking-wise, they finished with 99 wins. The Mets are 5th ranked, and they finished with a wild card, tied with the Braves, who are 6th. So it makes sense. That's a top-heavy National League East. 3 really, really good teams. Then you have some bottom feeders, the 28th Marlins and the 26th Nationals, both only getting 58 wins and 60 wins. Moving on to the National League Central, you have the 14th ranked Brewers winning the division with a 91 and 71 record. And then you have a bunch of very middling teams, a very weak National League Central. I'm a Cardinal fan, but I can admit it's a very weak Central. The Reds are ranked 24th, and they finished with a winning record. Cubs were ranked 8th, and they finished with a winning record, but they had to win 7 in a row. Notice the Reds. At one point, it looked like the Reds were going to make the playoffs, but they lost 7 in a row in the season. They were 84 and 71 at one point, looking like they were going to make the playoffs, and yet 7 in a row losing. That's how that happens. Anyway, the Cardinals were 25th in the game, and they finished with an even record, and the Pirates were 19th, and they finished 20 games under 500. Moving on to the West, you have the top-ranked Dodgers. No shock to anybody. They finished 97 and 65, but they didn't get the 1 seed. They ended up with the 2 seed. The Phillies actually had a better record, but they still make the playoffs and win the division. The Diamondbacks went 93 and 69, 3rd-ranked team in the game, but they're in the same division as the Dodgers, so they will get the wild card. Then you have the 20th ranked Giants, the 11th ranked Padres, and the 29th ranked Rockies. All right, so we look at the playoff brackets, and as you can see, the Tigers are the number 1 ranked team in the American League the American League. And on the other side, you've got the Phillies as the number 1 seed in the National League. The Mariners and Dodgers are the number 2 seeds, and they'll also get a bye. And then you can see the wild card matchups. I think it's interesting that the Rays and Red Sox take on one another since they both finished with the same record in the American League East. I thought that was an intriguing matchup. It's interesting. The Braves, the 6th seed, I could see them surprising some teams. It wouldn't surprise me if they would maybe make it 2 rounds and upset the Dodgers. That's a very good 6th seed team that they've got there in Atlanta. All right, we are going to then do end of season win prediction result. Once the season is concluded, check your team's wins against your season predictions. And we predicted that we would win. If you go back and look, we said we would be a seller team and we would win 0 to 56 games. We actually squeaked out a win. If you look at our calendar, that win here against Washington, that proved to be a huge game because that gives us 57 wins. If you made your goal, add a D10 to your approval rating from your GM. For every level that you did better, add a separately rolled D10 for each level. So we actually currently are at a -5 GM rating, but we get to roll the D10 twice and improve that as I drop the die. So we're going to get that -5 hopefully out of the negative and into the positives. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll. The first roll we got for making the prediction, we got a 10. So we go from -5 to 5, just like that. That's a huge roll for us to get to 5. Now we're going to roll it one more time because we actually went 1 jump up. So this is that bonus win that we got at the end of the season. They got us out of the seller prediction and into the next level. Rolled a 9. So wow, we got 19 approval with those 2 rolls. So now we're up to 14 GM approval. I mean, that seemed like a lot, but considering we were at -5, that's a huge jump at the end of the season. Then it says end of the season salary cap adjustment. Roll 2d6 to increase your team's salary cap for inflation. So our salary cap is at 54. We're going to get to roll a 2d6 out of the gates. So I'm going to get those dice for that. And it says then if you meet or exceed your season prediction goal, increase your team salary cap by another D6. So we're actually going to roll 3D6 to improve our salary cap. And then it says, then roll against your EPR. If the roll succeeds, you get another D6 salary cap. So let's go ahead and roll the 2 that we get just because of every season you get a 2D6 because of inflation. We're currently at 54 salary cap. We rolled and got a 4 and a 1, so that's 5 million. So we're going up from 54 million to 59 million. And then we get another D6 because we exceeded or met our season prediction goal. I rolled a 1, unfortunately, lowest you could get. So I rolled a 5. And basically, we got 6 out of 3D6. That's not what you're hoping for. But our salary cap does go up to 60 million. And then it says roll against your EPR. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It's a 25. Boy, this would be a huge roll if we could get it. And we got a 1. So we actually got a 1 out of 25 on a 100-sided. So we get to roll one more time on the D6. So we actually improved our salary cap by 4D6. So far, we've only gotten 6 out of 3D6. There's a 3. That's up to 63 million. So with 4D6, the odds would be 14. We actually got 9. But long story short, our salary cap is up to 63 million. So that is helpful. And then it says, it's time for your GM to have his yearly assessment of his confidence in your abilities as a manager to see if you can come back next year. Let's see. Let's see. If you did not make the playoffs, here we go. Use your GM's approval rating, which is a 14 now, thank goodness. And we're going to roll on our GM's approval roll. And I rolled and got a 66, so we failed the roll. And we're going to subtract a D10 from our job security ranking, which is currently at 57, starts at an 80. We've lost and we lose another 5. So we went from an 80 job security at the start to 52. So we lost 28 points in one season. You just don't want that to get down to 0. So not the worst thing in the world. It says that the job security rating is at 0 or lower, the GM wants to fire you. We're not there yet. Okay, take that. And now it's time for some progression. And let's start with manager progression. Did our manager he got square one as far as wins, 57-63. So he loses I lose a D20 in rating. And I unfortunately rolled a 20 because why not get the worst roll possible? So I'm dropping from a 53 rated manager down to a 33 rated manager. That really stunk. And then it says your manager, you will have their contract adjusted at the end of the season. Subtract 1 year off your current contract. So this was the last year of my contract, so I'm down to a 0. This is last year of your contract re-signed for 1D3 plus 1. So I am going to get re-signed. I did technically win more games than I promised, so that's why I think the manager job is mine again. I rolled a 2, so 2 plus 1 is 3. So my contract now is for a 3-year stint. So they signed me up for 3 more years. Excellent. Next up is pitching coach progression. Where did our team rank as far as the stats for that? And that was based on our team ERA. And I was ranked at a 20th ERA. And that puts us at a minus D6 rating. So we didn't lose that much for our pitching coach's rating. I only got a 4. So our pitching coach is down from a 15 to an 11 rated pitching coach. That's tough. Then it says your coach will then have their contract adjusted at the end of the season. Okay, so our pitching coach goes from a 2-year deal to a 1-year deal. And then we have to roll to see what his decision is. 8. Nope. He stays with the team. So we're moving on to the next. Hitting coach progression. Your hitting coach will have their rating adjusted. Well, our team finished as the dead last on the average. So we are going to lose a D24 off of our coach, his rating. That's a big tumble. Rolled and got a 6 though. So his rating is going to go from a 5 to a -1. Yeah, our hitting coach doesn't have a clue what he's doing. And we'll have his hitting his years. He'll go from his 4 years. He's got 3 more years in his deal. Although I wish he would decide to retire. That would make me so happy because he stinks. Roll to 7. He would like a contract extension. No, you're not getting a contract extension. So we're going to do a hard pass on that. Next is first base coach. We ranked for 24th in stolen base percentage, which means he's going to lose a D12 in his ranking. So we're going to roll the dice for that. Our first base coach was already a 15. He loses 9 more, so he's down to a 6. Not so good there. And then he's on a 4-year deal, down to now 3 years. His deal. Let's see if he wants to make any changes. He has decided to retire. Okay, so our first base coach has decided to retire. So he's done. So we have to remember that. Let's see if we can go back into the game. I don't know if it'll let us do it here or not. Yeah, so we'll have to basically cut that guy off at the start of the next season. So he is retired. Now, what are we going to replace him with? Well, the good news is we could actually replace him with a D. We could replace him with a D, and it will only cost us $1 million to do so. And that would cost off our salary cap, which is currently at 63. And I think we're going to make that change. So we're going to drop our salary cap down to 62 million. And we're going to hire a D coach. Maybe the 35. And that contract will be for maybe a 2-year deal. Okay, so we'll have to do that in the off season. Sign a first base coach. All right, let's move on. Third base coach progression. Our third base coach, we finished dead last in runs scored, which means he's going to lose a D24 off of his rating, which is ugly. He's already at a 15, and we rolled. We got a 20. So our third base coach is down to a -5. Don't like to see that very much. And he's going to lose 1 year off his 2-year deal. So he's down to, this will be his last season. I'd love to see him retire as well. He does retire. Okay. Wow. So we are losing our third base coach and our first base coach. And I think they both retired because they both realized they stunk. So we will have to replace our third base coach as well. And the question comes, do we want to improve our third base coach? And I think the answer is yeah, for another $1 million. Let's do it. So we're going to replace our third base coach as well with a D-rated coach. And that's going to take our salary cap from 62 million down to 61 million. And the contract for that coach will be a 2-year deal as well. So we're going to hire a new first base coach and a new third base coach in the off season. Next up is our farm director. Our farm director, this is when it gets pretty good. Our farm director had 10 people for the prospect promotions, and he only needed 2 or more to get a plus D12 rating. So we're actually going to move up our farm director, who's already rated at an F15. So this is only going to help. And he jumped up 8. So he goes from a 15 to a 23 rated farm director. He's on the last year of his deal. Let's go ahead and roll to see what happens here. Contract extension? Yep. We'll give it to you. So we get a 1D3 plus 1. We roll a 2, so he's going to be signed on for a 3-year deal for our farm director. Excellent there. Let's move on. Strength and conditioning coach. We finished, it wasn't good. strength and conditioning coach, we finished with this slugging percentage of dead last. 337 slugging percentage. That is horrible. So we're going to lose a D24 rating on our strength and conditioning coach. We rolled a 6, so he drops from a 15 down to a 9. And this will be the last year of his deal. He'll go from 2 years. This will be the last year of his deal. Let's see if he has any changes he wants to make. 1, if your coach needs to resign, nope, no event. So we're moving on to trainer coach progression. Our trainer had 6 people on the IR. Unfortunately for us, that means he loses a D20 in his rating for having so many people on the IR. He got a 19. Not good. So our trainer is a -4 trainer, and he's going to lose from 3 years down to 2 years. Our trainer would love to see him resign, retire. 4. Nope, no event. All right, moving on. Bench coach progression. Our bench coach, we finished 27th in fielding, which is a D20 loss in rating. So we're going to go ahead and roll that. And he lost 12 for our bench coach. Our bench coach was at a 10, so now he's at a -2. Yeah, we have a lot of bad coaches. His contract is going to go from 2 years to 1 year. Oh, can we hope for the resignation? Nope, no resignation there. He's going to stick out. Scout progression 1. We did have 5 on this list of top 25 prospects, and that means we're going to get a boost of D12. So our scout is going to go from a 75, and 70 is going to go up to an 82. His contract's going to drop from 4 to 3. And then we'll see what his plans are. We rolled a 5. Nope, no event. All right, we're going to Scout 2. He also gets a nice little bump. He's going to get a D20 bump for his role. And he went up 20. Nice. So he went from a 53 Scout to a 73 Scout. This is the last year of his deal. So let's see what he wants to do. Rolled a 0. He wants to retire. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. That's unfortunate. So we had a B. Okay, what do we want to do here? Oh boy. I think we are going to rehire a B Scout at 65 million, or excuse me, at 2 million, and we have that 65 rating, and the role we're going to roll is a 2, so he'll be signed for a 2-year deal, and we'll have to sign him in the off season. That's going to cost us 2 million off of our salary cap, so now we're down to 59 on the salary cap. Yeah, those coaches are really cutting into our cap. And then Scout 3, he's not so good, but he does get a nice little boost. He's going to go D24. And I rolled a 20. So he goes up from a 15 Scout to a 35 Scout. This is the last year of his deal. Let's see what he decides to do. 5. He does nothing. Let's see. Oh, it needs to resign. So yeah. So we are actually going to keep him because he did jump up to a 35, and we're going to sign him to a 3-year extension. Now we're to our AAA manager. We did not make the playoffs, so we're going to lose a D10 in our rating for our manager. He's already a 4. He loses a 4. He's down to a 0 rating. His contract goes from 4 years to 3 years. And let's see what he decides to do. No event. So we go to our AA manager. He did not make the playoffs either. So he's going to lose a D10. He loses only 1 point, so he goes from a 15 down to a 14. He loses a year off his contract. So this will be the last year of his deal. Perhaps we roll. Yep. No event. We go to our bullpen coach. The bullpen was ranked as the sixth best bullpen. So he actually is going to get a D20 bump. And rolled a 4, unfortunately. We would like to see a bigger bump there. He goes from 11 to 15. And his contract goes, he's got 3 years left on his deal. Perhaps enroll. Yep, no event. Sales and marketing. We have a C rating, so we get to go up a D4. For a 24 rating, we get 3 more, so we're up to 27 now with our sales and marketing. But that was the last year of their deal. Let's roll to see what they want. 3. And we are going to resign 1D plus 3. So that's a 4-year deal for our sales and marketing team. All right, so we've got a couple of changes in our staff. We're going to be hiring a new first base coach, a new third base coach, and we'll be getting a new scout for the off season. And that's going to take us through that portion of the off season. Let's go ahead and go through the playoffs. And would you look at that? The Arizona Diamondbacks make it to the World Series as a 2 seed. They beat the Mets as they made their way through the Mets in the wild card round. And then they took on the 1 seed Phillies and beat them. Meanwhile, in the other wild card round in the National League, the Brewers defeated the Braves. But then the Dodgers beat them to go to the championship game and take on the Diamondbacks. So it was a battle of the National League West. And there the Diamondbacks in 6 games went on to the World Series. Meanwhile, over in the American League, you had the Guardians and the Rangers, where the Rangers beat the Guardians, swept them in 2. And then they took on the number 1 seed Tigers, who beat them in 5 games to go on to the ALCS. Meanwhile, in the other round, you had the Red Sox beat their American League East foes Rays to take on the Mariners in the ALDS. And the Mariners came out of that with a 3-1 victory. And then in 7 games, the Mariners defeated the Tigers and then went on to the World Series where they swept the D-backs. So congratulations to the Seattle Mariners. What lineup do they have that makes them champions? Let's see what their lineup is. I mean, look at this lineup. How did they do it? A 77, 70. Of course, Julio Rodriguez, he's a stud. And then an 84 catcher, and then a bunch of 70s, 60, a couple 70s. I mean, wow. How did they do it? Let's look at their pitching staff. This was impressive. Well, their pitching staff is pretty good. You've got Bryce Miller at 84, and then you have George Kirby at 91, Luis Castillo at 86, and Brian Wu at 85. So definitely those 4 carried them, I imagine. Well, congratulations to the Seattle Mariners. And we are going to have some contracts re-signed. Nobody there for us. No players inducted into the Hall of Fame. So we are going to go ahead and fix our staff. We are going to get signed our manager, who was Chris Rothman, something like that. Let's see if we can find him. He was the C manager. Let's find that. Gotta be here somewhere. Where did he go? The Chad Roman. There it is, Chad Roman. Chad Roman, we're going to hire you back to a 3-year deal because we had you sign for 3. So they're going to make us do a little bit more money. There we go. We'll get him back. Then for farm director, we were an F. We had Abe. So we're going to actually go back to the bottom of the list. Can't find him. And I think the name was Abe Royster. Abe Royster. There we go. We had him for 3 years. And that takes good. But we did, meanwhile, we have to fire our third base coach. And we have to fire our third base coach. We've got to replace them with D's. And if we can't find D's, we have to be the 2 worst C's at the bottom. So Chad Wilkins. It's going to be our first base coach. It's going to be a 2-year deal. And then for our third base coach, we'll hire Miguel Fernandez. And we're going to hire him for 2 years. That should take care of that for us. Let's look at our roster. How many are in the 40-man? We've got 40. Okay. So before this is over, we are going to want to get that down to like 33 because we want to have the possibility for 7 Rule 5 pickups. So we're going to start moving people off of our 40-man. If people want to claim them, they certainly can. Our goal here is to get our 40-man roster down to 32. That's going to be our goal. So that takes us down to 33. Feel pretty good about that. Anything else we want to remove from the 30-man? Corey Lee can be off the 30-man. Okay. That's a good start. Now we want to look at our budget. Currently, our budget is at $10 million. That's all we have spent in guaranteed monies, which is basically Alec Burleson, his $7 million deal, James Karinchak 1.6, and then our rookies. We have Lorenzo Marte, Francisco Morales, Brando Garcia, Freddy Collado, Jackson Ordonez. Jackson Ordonez. Good. I like Jackson Ordonez. I think he could be something. Round 3. It's a good pick. And Kendrick Pelletier. So our roster currently has 98 people on it. But we are going to do exclusive free agent negotiations. We don't have any of those. Review staff. We've done that. We're getting rehiring our coach, our first base coach, our third base coach, and our farm director. We have no exclusive free agents. We got the first base coach. And we got the manager. All we need left is review staff. Just need the third base coach and the farm director sign, and then we will be all good. We have offers, third base coach. Okay, we still got the offer. And there's the farm director. So all we have left is the third base coach. And as you can see, we've clearly offered a deal to Miguel Fernandez. Don't know why he is holding out. All right, so let's take a look. We've got lots of players that we want to have on our team and others that we don't. So let's go ahead and start. This is the new free agency system, which is very awesome. Yeah, so our positional needs, our team needs. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to select 3 positions. We definitely want to get outfielders. So I think, and probably second base. So I think we're going to go center field, left field, and second base. Those are the ones that I think we could certainly use the most. And then team needs. We're definitely looking for power. And I would say probably on-base machine. Yeah, I think so. Top 150 free agents. Now, we don't have a ton of money to begin with. I mean, these are people we're never going to get. So let's just, can we sort? Yeah, so let's see. Is there any way to sort? Yeah, we're going to need bottom basement. Yeah, these people are just all too expensive for our needs. Yeah, we'll have to come back to this. Joey Gallo. Joey would be interesting. That's the kind of person we could afford. Hits the ton out of right-handed pop discipline. Unfortunately, though, not only are you getting bad average, but it's not even like he's hit a lot of home runs lately. Like he peaked in 2021. That'd be a tough. I mean, he's only about $2 million, so there's definitely that's the kind of player we're going to have to get. Though, is one of these basement bargain cheap people that don't get paid a lot. That's who we're going to have to go for. But I don't think we're there quite yet. Jason Hayward, wow. Yeah, I don't think we're quite. What is the 150th free agent? Just out of curiosity, what's the rating? 66. Okay, interesting. So, definitely, there are deals to be made. I mean, Manuel Margot, $780,000. I mean, there are definitely people out there for us to go for in free agency. For sure. Let's go ahead and if we were going to go for somebody, possibly an outfielder. Kyle Schwarber. What's he want? Okay, so he's going to want $8 million. That's just out of our price range. Max Kepler hit 261 with 13 home runs last year. Is that the kind of person we would want to get? $4.5 million. Conforto. I really like Michael Conforto. How did he hit last year? 231 with 14 home runs. So you're looking about a 248 career hitter. But in the last 4 years, he's hit about 235. What's $7.5 million a year? Yikes. I don't think so. We need more bottom basement than that. Austin Hayes, he had 213 last year. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to get cheap like this. I mean, Miguel Andujar's got some pretty good ratings against lefties. Good durability, good arm. What's he want? $5.6 million a year? Alex Verdugo? Yeah, it could be tough. It certainly isn't the way you want to build a squad, because look at those prices. Yeah, I mean, we'd be better off. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do free agency. We are definitely going to have to go cheap. Here's what we do. We do all free agents. We just look for some deals. Basically down here you're getting all either deep potential or Eloy Jimenez. Former White Sox. And for the White Sox, he hit 295 in 2022. In the game world, that's not that long ago. He was out of baseball last year. Nobody would sign him. free agents than we want. We're just browsing what's out there. Grisham wants how much? $9.5 million a year. We can't afford these guys. Not on our budget. I just feel like we're going to have to Rule 5 stuff. Okay, let's tender some contracts. Jason Dominguez. Do we want to give him... First of all, let's look at our salary. Our budget is currently $14.31. Where are we getting that from? There's 7. There's 8.6. Oh, staff salaries. Yep. Okay. Let's tender some contracts. Jason Dominguez. Do we sign him up? We try to get him for longer. How did he do? His growth is outstanding. I mean, I love the fact his power against right. I mean, he's just blossoming. We think Jason Dominguez is the future of this team. If so, we try to lock him up now. Where's the jump? Do we try to get him... You think Jason, I mean, that's a huge jump. Jason Dominguez is going to be the player we want him to be. And we pay him now. Look at that interest. We're going to get the interest bar to go up. Oh, because we're not even close to it. That's good. Okay, so we got to do this. Yeah, it's okay. So if we signed him to a 7-year deal, we paid him, I guess we're getting to the age of 30. Do we think he's the real deal? We can offer it. All right, we're going to offer Jason Dominguez a 7-year deal at $81.6 million. $11.7 million a year. That's a big chunk of our salary. And we hope that he takes it. Jonathan Cannon. We're hoping that he, likewise, will take some money. Now, 25 years old, we just may want to give him a 3-year deal. He asked for 2.6, and that's what we'll give him. Thorpe. We'll give Drew Thorpe. He's 25. Give him a 4-year deal. And then I think we're going to contract renew a lot of these people. Kyle Teal. Well, they're not going to let us give him anything more. So, Kyle Teal, we're going to try to get you on the cheap. Olson Montgomery. We would definitely like to, you are the captain. We'd like to get you a little bit more money. Hagen Smith. We're going to get you on the cheap. Ryan Clifford. We are hoping you are going to be the real deal. I'll give you a 3-year deal. Noah Schultz. And get Noah Schultz on board. So a lot of these we're just going to offer Brooks Baldwin. Taylor. Corey Lee? I don't think so. Is he trade bait? And I don't even want to pay his salary. It ticks me off so much. But you know what? For $800,000. Stuff will start adding up over time. Kyle Gordon. Yes, we definitely liked him. Picked him up. Salvage. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to people that we may want to think about not re-signing. 65, 26-year-old Schomburg. Yeah, well, so these people are going to be cheaper than anything that's out there. Back to Loach. I don't know, man. Oscar Colas. It's a time for him to hit the road. Did he get enough chances? Where's our money? let's tender some contracts. Okay, Cannon hasn't signed. Thorpe didn't. Montgomery hasn't. All right, Baroa. I still believe in Baroa. Peter. Clifford didn't like my deal yet. Jerpy. We'll do Jerpy for that. Oh, Ramos, yes. Just not sure about Colas or Maya, for that matter. I just feel like these people are able to be gone. I think Maya and Colas got to go. We got to get down to, let's just get some of these people off our roster. Some people that have no business being on the team. Should Dahlquist be on the team? Contract offers gone through. And we are going to look at how things are going. We've offered salary arbitration to Bobby Dalbec, Corey Julks, Nick Maton, Justin Anderson, Dan Altavia, Stephen Wilson. As far as tendered contracts go, we've offered Jonathan Cannon a 3-year deal for $8.2 million, Drew Thorpe a 4-year deal at $18 million, Cole Montgomery a 4-year deal at $12.7 million, Ryan Clifford a 3-year contract at $2.3 million. Zach DeLoach, we haven't offered anything to because I feel like he's pretty much done for. We haven't offered one to Owen White, Wilfred Verras, Mario Camaletti. Maybe we'll give him one because he's cheap. But these 800,000 guys down here, I don't think so. Tim Elko, he's only 60,000. Sure. Jason Matthews, sure. Eddie Park, sure. If they're 60,000, we'll do it. But for the $800,000 people, no thank you. We did get Jason Dominguez to sign that 7-year deal, so that feels good. Now we just need Cannon to sign. And there's a big move. Ryan Helsley to the Phillies, former Cardinal. We're happy they didn't join the American League Central. Devin Williams goes. Let's okay. Tender contract. Loach, I don't think we really want the Loach. White, Veros, Lipschus. Not for what, I don't know, 800,000. Is he really going to play for us though? I mean, what is he offering? He's already 27. 29-year-old C potential righty. Let's throw heat. But I think we're going to take a pass. Just looking at our roster right now, we are at 90. And we have 32 for our 40-man. So that gives me, I wanted 7 for the Rule 5 draft. So I feel pretty good about that. So free agency. I'm not interested in that sort of thing. We don't have the kind of money that people are wanting. Let's see. For salary arbitration. Yeah, that looks good. Select 40 man. Who are they saying our best players get through is Rule 5? Ishmael Mena, 58 C23 old center fielder. Somebody really going to want a C58. I'm going to bank on not. So we are just going to roll with it. Is this? Yeah, that's just when you need to have the 40 man figured out. What date is this? Okay, free agent. Okay. Have our people taken our contracts yet? Let me see. Cannon sign? Yes, he did sign. So we haven't signed Bobby Dalbec or Corey Julks, but we've got a lot of other people signed. We got Colson Montgomery signed. A lot of these people have signed. So it's just a matter of, well, these people are Rule 5. I'm sorry, our arbitration. So let's get to the Rule 5. Kyle Tucker signs with the Giants with a huge 9-year, $311 million deal. Wow. Yeah, we don't have that kind of money. Zach Eflin re-signs with the Orioles. Out of our price range. Yeah, there's the date we want. The Rule 5 draft. Well, actually, we want the baseball meetings. We want to see the lottery. We want to see, do we keep our spot? Some signings here. Vladimir Guerrero going to the Giants. And we're going to go ahead and save here. Okay. Ranger Suarez goes to the Angels, making a nice little $97.5 million contract for Ranger Suarez. All right, the draft lottery. Here is an important date for us. We and the Nationals and the Marlins have an equal chance, 16.5% chance of winning the number one pick. We did have the worst record in baseball. We beat them by a game. White Sox, Nationals, Marlins, Rockies, all four teams that are struggling. And throw in the Athletics with 100 loss teams. Come on now. We'll take that first pick. Give us that first pick. That would be exciting for this dynasty. Come on. We drop to 7th. Wow. That is the Padres, who had a 78 and 84 record. They go to the number one spot, and the Twins go up. Wow, that doesn't seem right. Look at some of the teams that suffered. White Sox, Marlins, Rockies, Athletics, all dropping multiple spots. That is a huge blow. We're going to draft 7th next year. Okay. That stinks. But that's how the cookie crumbles. We're going to go ahead and go through the Rule 5 draft. This is exciting. Rule 5 draft. We are picking first. And we are on the clock. Who is out there for us to grab in the Rule 5 draft? We're going to start with looking at pitchers and looking at, well, John Curtis was like, okay, they don't have his contract there. He would be a great pickup for us. Catchers, Yoel Poza, he's had a great year this year for the Cardinals. Like, he was living out of his car for a little bit, so he would be a great pick for us. We could grab him. He could be the backup to Kyle Teal. He could hit against left-handed pitchers. So he could basically be our sub catcher. I'm leaning towards Yoel Poza as our first pick. But I want to look at outfielders first before I make my mind up. Wow. Not a great set of outfielders out there. But I am definitely liking Yoel Poza. And we are going to take Poza. The Rockies take a player. Let's go back and look. So the Rockies took Shane Drohan, 69C lefty, 27-year-old. That makes sense. Not bad. Alexander Vargas, a shortstop taken, a 67-24. Okay. Orloville Martinez, taken by the Astros, 66C, third baseman. Okay. Now it's time for us in round 2. And you better believe we're going to be picking another player. Can we... Does Ryan Ward make sense? He can play left, center, right. He's got the speed. I like Ryan Ward as an option. I think we're going to grab Ryan Ward. They take Kristen Robinson. Let's look at his numbers before we move on. The Rockies grab a 68C25 outfielder. Okay. Time for us. And I am definitely leaning towards any outfielder opportunities that we are overlooking here. Colby Thomas. It's good against lefties. We certainly could use a person that hits right-handed or left-hand pitching. We have a lot of these. He has 78 speed. Colby Thomas is an option. Justin Dean's pretty fast. Mike Antico is pretty fast, but a left-handed bat. Zach Cole offers more youth. Let's check out Austin Henrik. What does he offer? 67C24. That's intriguing. Not bad. What about, I remember George Valera being decent. Austin Henrik. So this would give us a catcher, a first baseman / outfielder, and then another outfielder. I think this might be the pick. Austin Henrik, is he going to be the pick? Is there a second baseman type that we could use? Darren Baker. Are we kidding? Rafael Antigua. Some interesting options. David Bodie. Hits a little bit of everything. He hit 304 last year for the Cubs. Plays a lot of spots. Max Muncy, 23. Will Wilson. Got a little willpower. Adrian Pinto. Miles Straw. Wow, he's 31. Wow, how the years fly. What are we leaning towards? Just want to make sure taking a look at every single option available. As far as relief pitchers go, John Curtis be an option. He got hit pretty hard in limited action in 2024 and then was out of pitching, but 3-pitch mix. We used John Curtis in the bullpen. So let's think about it. Closer, setup. We kind of need a hard-throwing middle relief guy. I think it's going to be John Curtis. So we've taken a catcher, first baseman, a relief pitcher. Now we're going to look for outfield. And maybe it's a first baseman, corner outfield guy. We don't want to leave any stone unturned. We certainly don't want Chris Bryant's contract. Wow. Rafael Antigua plays a lot of spots. Already 27 though. James Transos, I've gone back to him a couple times. David Bodie, what's his contract? $3 million though. Yeah, we don't want $3 million. Adrian Pinto could play center. Does have a lot of speed. Second short. What do we think about him on the bench? Adrian Pinto. Sure, he doesn't give you much pop, but his hitting's already 53, 57. He's a good fielder, good speed. He'd be a great pinch runner off the bench. He's only 2 points lower than Brooks Baldwin, who I tease all the time about being on the team. But maybe Pinto is the guy. He's only at 66 though. Pinto might be an option. But we definitely need a right-handed or a bat right guy. Doesn't have a lot of speed. Dylan Beavers. As far as starting pitchers go, I mean, I feel like between Cannon, Thorpe, I feel like we've got the pitchers covered. Dominick's contract goes up. Victor Gonzalez. What was his story last year? His contract. Victor Gonzalez wouldn't be bad to have. But where would he? So he'd be your lefty, and you'd send down. So you got Karinchak as your closer, set up, and then you need basically 3 middle relievers and long relief. I don't know what he would get paid. like his stuff. We're going to go Victor Gonzalez. So let's look. In the first round, we got a catcher. Second round, first base. Third round, a relief pitcher. Fourth round, a relief pitcher. I think we've taken enough time now. It's time to get that outfielder type. So what are we going to do? Rafael Lentiga gives you the benefit of second, third, short, left, right, and speed. He's 27. James Trianos plays second, short, third. Alberto Hernandez plays catcher, which is a nice thing to have, but he's not very fast. We're looking for a right-hand bat because Fletcher's left, Tatum's left, and our outfield depth is weak sauce. We need a righty bat. Austin Henrik bats left. Rincones Jr. bats left. Bob Brown bats right. He does offer speed. George Valera left. What are they recommending? This guy's got beat at 31. Okay, this guy's beat 56. Gavin Sheets bats left. They're rating these players by best value, probably James Trianos. Don't know, 20. Boy, he offers some speed. Jordan Adams, 65C. He gives you a righty 26C and a 60. Okay. Rosa. I mean, maybe I haven't been going deep enough. Petey Halpin. We're getting pretty low with barrel. We start getting into Clyde Rosario. Interesting. Alberto Hernandez, 26. It's not fast, though. We need somebody that can actually play in the outfield. Justin Dean is a 67. Can't hit for much. Von Brown. See the guy, Von Brown. 85 speed. You know what? We're going to go with some Von Brown. So we're trying to use year 2 basically just to grab some talent. That's rule 5. Keep them on our team for the second year and then maybe send them down in the third year. Ivan Melendez, what's his contract? He's not a bad player. First base, third base type. First, third. Where would he fit in, though? Would he be the Elko? When you grab all these Rule 5 guys, there's only so much room in the team. But we'd be given an opportunity to play. Righty. Ryan Clifford is a lefty-lefty, so possibly platooning. Could Ivan Melendez be on there? 26 years old. Melendez, join the squad. And I think that might be all for us. Unless we want, well, we could always send Steven Wilson down. He hasn't really signed with us yet. He had a 4 ERA. This guy has averaged a 3.88 ERA. He's a 72, and it's quite a few. Dan the Man isn't getting any younger. Wentz, it's going to be Andrew Wentz. Yeah, we're just trying to do whatever we can. And do we do a Rule 5 pitcher? Starting pitcher, Joey Lucchesi. Could he be your long relief guy? As a lefty. Are we doing a disservice not to bring up enough closer types? Noldy Paredes, why is he out there? His contract's pretty cheap. So we might be eschewing some of these people that were on a roster last year, these Rule 5 guys on, just to keep them for 1 year. That's a good little player right there for our team, relatively speaking. I think we're going to give them a shot. And we picked 8 people in the Rule 5 draft, and that should take us to the end of the Rule 5 draft. Now we should have a lot of people on our team. 93. But then that's not counting so there's quite a few people, because it looks like Curtis is arbitration offered. So this team is going to be full of players. And we're going to sim through this month. Framber Valdez goes to the Brewers for a 4-year deal, about $29 million a year. Michael King goes to the Phillies for about $27 million a year. And we're going to sim through the month of January. Dylan Cease goes to the Cardinals. They're getting him for $27 million a year. Yeah, we don't have that kind of money. And that takes us through the month of January. And we've got several arbitration dates coming up here. Let's see how that goes. Dan Altavilla is going to get paid $2 million. Steven Wilson is going to get paid $895,000. Bobby Dalbec's going to get paid $1.5 million. John Curtis is getting paid $1.4 million. Corey Julks is getting paid $864,000. Justin Anderson's going to get paid $120,000. Nick Maton's going to get $820,000. Victor Gonzalez $811,000. So let's see what we have on our roster. We got 93 players on the roster. Let's see what our pay's at. So after all the arbitration deals are done, we have a salary cap of $59 million for the players, and it's right now at $63 million. So I've got to find a way to cut $4 million. That just happens with some of the arbitration stuff that occurs. So looking at my team, what I think we're going to do is, as much as I like Dan the Man, and as much as Bobby Dalbec did provide some solid pop for us, that's basically $3.5 million right there. And I think that's where we're going to make the move. So we're going to go out and see if we can trade away Dan Altavilla and Bobby Dalbec. Found a trade that was for very much our liking. We are desperate for outfield depth. And so we're going to get rid of Bobby Dalbec and Dan Altavilla for the Nationals. They're going to give us 2 outfielders. And that's going to definitely shave some money. And let's see how that affects. We still are at 93 players. And let's look at our budget. Now we are at 60 million. So we need to shave it down to 59 million. And so we need to get rid of one more contract. Who doesn't make sense on this team? Brandon Eisert doesn't belong on this team with that salary, so we are going to move him. And we're going to see what team in the National League is looking for a relief pitcher. And a lefty at that. Rockies. All right, Rockies, do you have an outfield prospect? Or am I getting rid of him? Oh, this is going to basically be a throw-in. Close. But we're definitely getting there with that. So let's see. They also, we could use a first base type. So we could use like a first base. Who wants to get rid of a first base? Okay, so definitely we could make a trade happen with a team to get rid of that contract. So as you can see, it has to be a pretty low player. And we're going to do it Nationals? No. It's going to be American League team. National League team. We can throw in. What are they looking for? Back to the Nationals. Maybe give them something else. Shave it down. Our highest price. Schuster. He is a lefty. Schonberg, he seems like overpriced. Let's throw him in the mix. Let's see what we can get out of this. Just feels like a good deal with Nationals. Throw in one more piece for them. Can make this happen. What do we want to give them? Jason Matthews, we were trying to unload him. There we go. We're going to send them Isert, Burke, and Matthews and get Chaparro. And it cuts probably the salary that we need. We get rid of 3 players, we get back 1, and now we go to our budget. And look at that. We're at the $59 million that we need. Fantastic. I'm going to save. This team is starting to come together in the offseason. We now have 91 people. And on the 40-man roster, we have 39. So we even have room to add 1 person if we needed to. And if you look at what we've got an abundance of starting pitchers. We're short on a relief pitcher, but we can convert a starting pitcher to that. We do have 6 closing pitchers, so one of those can become a relief pitcher. In fact, we might do that now. Which one of these people should be a relief pitcher and not a closer? Cal Gordon, you should be set up. Let's see. Justin Anderson, let's make you a reliever. Is there anybody here that should be a reliever instead of a starter? Okay, so we basically have our starters. We've got our relievers. Should Nick Nostrani be a reliever? I think so. We're going to make Nick Nostrani a reliever. All right, Nick Nostrani, you are now a reliever. And that gives us 21 starters, 17 relievers, and 4 closers. I think that's a good mix there that we've done. And we definitely have Rule 5 to a lot of people. And so this is going to be an interesting ball club next year. You don't necessarily have to bring up some of these people. If we don't want to, we might be able to get them another year because Chaparro can play first or third. So maybe you'll hold off Matt Shaw another year. It'll be interesting to see how we do this. But the Rule 5 definitely is going to help us a little bit, buy us some time. Our outfield's going to look interesting. Dominguez just got the big deal, so he's going to be hopefully someone we can build around. And then maybe Fletcher in center. And maybe this Vaughn Brown in right. With his speed, maybe he plays center. And we move Dominic Fletcher to right field. In fact, I think that may be the move. So let's make Fletcher. It was a 70. Let's do this. Fletcher, 67B. So we're going to change Fletcher to right field. Yeah. Then Vaughn Brown is much better as a center fielder. There we go. Yeah, so Vaughn Brown will platoon with Tatum, maybe, in center. Dominguez in left, and Fletcher will be our right fielder. And Burleson will be our DH. And we'll have Colson Montgomery playing short. As far as first base, interesting. Ryan Ward, maybe we make him one of our outfielders. Maybe Clifford gets another year in the minors, we'll see. Chaparro plays first. I mean, we definitely have a lot of options. Spring training is going to be a good decision because now we have Melendez as well. So can Melendez play third or first? Chaparro plays third. You have maybe Ward plays outfield. Yeah, we definitely have a lot more options than we had before. Spring training is going to be very interesting for this team, as we are going to save but it's definitely going to be a fun team. More fun than last year. We're going to be more competitive than last year. Our pitching staff is going to be better. Our bullpen, I think, is going to be even better than it was last year. I thought last year was pretty good. we are going to have a better hitting lineup in general. Hopefully some people will improve these Rule 5 pickups. I mean, I'm not even sure now about bringing something. I mean, Composo could just be our catcher out of the gates. He can play. Yeah, these Rule 5 pickups are definitely going to make us a more interesting team, for sure. When you look at our roster, we have 91. So if we need to pick up somebody in free agency, we can. But just remember, we are limited by our budget. We are right at the $59 million budget of players. One thing they took away is the front loading or back loading the contract. So it's a straight up contract each year. But we do have Dominguez signed. We have Burleson signed. We have Thorpe signed. We have Montgomery signed. We have Cannon signed. Karinchak signed. So we have some of our cores signed. Curtis is a 1 year. Let's see how he does. And then you start to get down after that. But we definitely will have some money. Somehow Corey Lee made it back on this team, although he'll be in the triples. But he could certainly be the first catcher coming up. And then we have just a bunch of $800,000 players. We did get Clifford signed for 3 years, which is good. But yeah, we've got some interesting things moving forward on this team. And spring training is about to begin.
Well, that ends a very long off-season video. Didn't know it was going to take that long, but this team has been reshaped, and hopefully we'll see some improvement going into Season 2. Spring training up next. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.